Hello there, World of Tankers. I'm Journalist Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the WZ-113, the Tier 10 Chinese heavy tank. Now, yesterday's video, I kind of talked bad about the IS-2, which I agree with. I absolutely hated the tank when I ground it, and I didn't really enjoy it that much in yesterday's video when I did play it. But I figured, you know what, I also want to talk about the WZ-113, because this is a vehicle that you don't really find YouTubers talking about anymore, and I feel like, as a YouTuber, my job is to tell you guys about vehicles that aren't really talked about anymore. So that's why you'll find me doing weird videos talking about weird guns and other stuff like that, because I want to explore the game, talk about some stuff I haven't really talked about in a while. And the WZ-113 is a vehicle that is amazing in a lot of aspects, but yet nobody really grinds down the line. In fact, the IS-4 and IS-7 about quadruple the amount of games played in those vehicles compared to the ones played in this every 90 days. So in today's video, of course, I'm going to be first of all telling you why this is such a strong tank in the correct scenarios, and a little bit about why this is probably the worst credit coefficient tank in the game. Well, actually, Blitz Star says it has a credit coefficient of 80%, and as well, one of the World of Tanks Blitz forums I went on also said that it has an 80% credit coefficient. It's not the credit coefficient that's bad, it is the repair cost. This tank has one of the most expensive repair cost factors in the game, about 22,500 credits just to fix up the tank, and then once you fixed up the vehicle, you also have to pay for the ammunition, the heat shells you fired, so it probably costs you about 50,000 credits on every single loss or defeat when you play this tank when you blow up, which in return causes you to lose a lot of credits. But talking about the WZ-113, what is good about it? So first of all, you're going to notice it is super fast. It goes upwards of 50 kilometers per hour. It does, unless of course you have a team like this where well, yeah, they all drive in front of you, which is kind of unfortunate for me because I need to, of course, capture that hill before the enemy team does. That is one very important thing, because the frontal armor on this tank isn't really amazing. This is the same hull that you would find on your 112 Glacial, and while I do absolutely love the 112 Glacial, the armor doesn't really work too well at tier 10. In fact, most premium rounds are easily going to cut through the upper plate of this tank. Now, if you are angling it correctly, you can get the occasional bounce, which of course is very nice, but the first thing you'll notice is that this tank has a truly spectacular gun, 420 average damage, and it has amazing aiming time. It's got great DPM, 3,440 base damage per minute, same as the WZ-121. You also have one of the strongest turrets in the game. This, in my opinion, is way stronger than your IS-4 turret. As you can see there, just shrugging off an IS-7 shot there. The reason this turret is so strong is because it's got this rounded design. It's about 300 millimeters on average, which is pretty dang impressive when you do think about it. Now, we have the T-92 pushing up to the front there. I'm not really sure what I want to do right now, because we've got the T-92 up top, we got the M103 pushing out here, so I guess I'm going to start to focus towards these vehicles. Let's put on our adrenaline here, see if we can pump out the DPM. Not sure why this M103 is rushing me, but I'm fine with that. Let's just sit here, let's see if we can bounce another shell. There we go. You can see the upper plate doing its trick, bouncing the shots, and one final shell, finishing off that M103, barely even taking a single hit point in return, because as I've said, the armor on this tank, while it isn't spectacular, still does do very well, and of course that was a stock M103, so yeah, I didn't expect his gun to be truly spectacular at taking me out. So over to the side here, we have the Yag Tiger, and let's see if we can get a shot right into the frontal hull. Well, we didn't, but that's of course because I think the Yag Tiger can actually penetrate me right through the front if he does know what he's doing. So let's try. There we go. Nice shot right through the upper plate. We've got the T-92 to the side here. We actually have a lot of vehicles right now that we're dealing with, which isn't always super fun, but it looks like my team has got my back here. They've got me covered. The Yag Tiger just fired. Let's get... Oof. You can see sometimes the gun does not like to work too well, and the reason for that being is actually the shell velocity, not the shell velocity, sorry, the turret traverse speed is absolutely awful. Like you can see here, I'm turning the turret. It's one of the worst turret traverse speeds in the game. Now the issue with that is when you're trying to shoot at your enemy, the turret kind of sucks on hitting them. I'm not sure how that one didn't hit actually. That's a little bit of a mind trick there. But here we go. We've got the Yag Tiger showing only the roof of his tank, which means that it's going to be extremely hard for him to hit the weaker spots of our tank here. So I'm just going to sit here pumping shell after shell into this poor Yag Tiger, and there's really not much he can do. You can see again that amazing frontal turret armor doing the trick, and we have one heat shell left, and let's make every shell count in this vehicle. Well, apart from some of the misses we've had here, a couple weird ones too. But one more heat shell. Actually, you know what, let's just, yeah, we're going to shoot heat. I was like, we might be able to high explosive him, but no, it did not look like high explosive would have worked there. So we're already at 3,400 damage. You can see our turret has bounced a fair amount of shells, and we're still continuing to rack out the damage. Now, the gun on this tank is great. It doesn't miss all of its shells. In fact, it barely misses any. And you can see here, it really does do the trick quite well when you do start shooting at your enemy. With that nice 420 average damage, you're able to trade with your opponents. We're already at 4,200 damage this game, and while we did go through all of our heat shells, you were able to see getting out damage in this tank is really not a challenge. The heat as well on this tank is just like your IS-4. It's sitting at 370 millimeters of penetration, which of course is the best heat penetration values you can pretty much get for a tier 10 heavy tank. So let's go straight for this T92E1. I want to really clear this guy first. So, you know, we didn't clear him yet, but there you go. Nice little ram right up his butt. We've got the IS-7 right out in the open as well. Nice penetration right in the upper plate. You've got very nice standard penetration as well on this tank, almost at 5,000 damage in this battle here. And, oof, we did actually bounce that shell. We don't have the most standard pen, just a pretty nice amount. So let's go to the side of this IS-7 here. There we go, nice penetration right in the side. And our reload is so quick, I actually am confident that we would have out-reloaded our Super Conqueror there, but another shot right in the lower plate. We pretty much out-DPM this IS-7 by almost 1,000, which is pretty dang impressive when you do think about it. We're going to load an HE shell, and, oof, did miss it. Again, not the best of my aiming on PC here, but, we can still easily clear this guy, I have a feeling. So, you know what, I'm just going to push out. I don't think that 4005 can hit me. And even if he does, we've got plenty of hit points left. And let's see if we can get maybe a little sneak shot into him. Let's take a blind shot right there. Oof, the shell did not go nearly where I wanted it to. But right now, let's just aim a shot at this IS-7 here. Let's load up HE, and oof, come on. My shells are really not wanting to hit this guy. We could just give him a little love tap. There we go. That works too. I was like, okay, maybe our HE would hit, but our auto aim, I think, exactly tried to hit the guy right in the gun. But still, even with a couple mess-ups, we got 6 kills this game. In fact, a pretty impressive amount. 6,000 damage, probably a mastery. Yes, there we go. Pulled out a mastery. I apparently can master every other class but American vehicles. And we pulled out 1,665 base XP this game. So you can definitely see that the WZ-113 is a spectacular vehicle if you do get it in the correct positions. But at the same time, there is one big downside to the tank that I haven't really talked about yet, and that is the traverse speed. I wish Wargaming would have buffed it. They've buffed the tank in so many aspects. The DPM, the average damage per shot, it went up 20, which is really nice, don't get me wrong. But I really feel what would have made this tank so much more enjoyable is they had just buffed the traverse speed. If you look at the turret traverse speed and the hull traverse speed, this thing is kind of like the Titanic. And if there was an iceberg in front of me and I was going full speed, most likely I would have crashed right into it and my tank would have exploded. Which is one thing that I really don't like about the tank, and it causes me, as I said right at the beginning, why I love the 111.5A, is it's kind of like you get your WZ-113, you give it a little more alpha, you might not have the DPM, but you have something called mobility, and mobility is a little bit different than top speed, because while you can go very quick in this tank, in fact, it's got a really, really good power-to-weight ratio. You can see I'm already at 40 kilometers per hour. A tank like the IS-7 doesn't really get up to its top speed that quickly. This tank easily in a straight line gets up there. But it has the issue where it can't really turn. You can see I'm going to go full turning here. This is my full turn. Like, that is truly awful. The turret traverse speed as well is awful. That means that if you've got, you know, medium tanks or light tanks that are going to flank you, they can actually really easily flank you. Like, let's say an FE-4202, yeah, that kind of sucks for your tank. It's really a big issue. Now, we actually did get hit by that Vickers CR right in the lower plate. Ooh, very close, though. I was like, wow, that was a good shot. So, yeah, I didn't think my lower plate was showing that much. But I'm really not too worried about him being able to pen me now, especially when I have my my lower plate hidden there. It's the Sheridan I want to be a little bit careful of. I'm going to try and rush this Vickers. There's not much he's going to be able to do, I have a feeling, once we do get into position here, as long as they don't have a lot of other deadly tanks waiting. So let's get a nice tap right into the upper plate. Let's start getting the pain train back on this Vickers CR here. Well, there we go. We learned our lesson of the Gorilla. But we're still going to keep getting shots into this guy. Like, you can trade with the 113, but as I said, it has amazing damage per minute. And you can't really out DPM it. It's just got one of the best damage per minute values out of tier 10 heavies out there. But I am now in a little bit of a predicament because I don't have a lot of hit points left. And yeah, that's a bit of an issue. So we're going to see if this T92 can end up spotting the girl who's most likely in this bush right here. Only one way to find out. Let's see if I am spotted. I am not spotted. I need that T92 to either get shot from by that grill or something else. I have a feeling he's right there. Oh, no, he's right there. There we go. So the grill is now spotted. Let's load a high explosive shell. A little bit of a low roll, actually, for HE there. But still, we did get the shot into the grill here. Let's see if we can now rush him, maybe get another nice shot. And we've got the Kampfpanzer to the side as well, who I would love to get a beautiful little shot into there. Actually, it looks like both of the Kampfpanzers are right there. So, you know what? I will sit gladly right here and try and pump shells into both of the KPZs. Did get hit by the Mauschen, but not the end of the world. As we know, I still got a little bit of HP left. Let's get the Kampfpanzer with a little more hit points as well, just so we can get up that damage number. Looks like we're going to win this battle either way. Already at 3,500 damage this game. And even in this battle, while we didn't really get out the most damage, we weren't in the best of scenarios. We had to show our weak lower plate. We got hit by the grill. You still saw that the tank did a great job getting out the damage, and we're still able to get into the game very quickly, get that Mauschen on the side, and almost a 4,000 damage game once again. And this kind of shows why the 113 is such a strong tier 10 vehicle as it is. So, not able to get that final shell in almost, but that T92, nice job to him. I think he actually finished off that full health grill. I would have loved to help him out there, but looks like we were able to still do pretty dang good in our WZ-113, once again finishing on top. So this kind of showed what the strengths and the weaknesses of the WZ were. You saw in a position where it wasn't as strong, like against that Vickers CR, yeah, we did demolish the guy once we pushed on him, but at the time being, we did kind of get hurt by him. He took off about 1,300 hit points or so, which kind of does hurt my vehicle. That's about half my hit points. So if you have your lower plate showing or your upper plate, it is very easy to penetrate. But at the same time, if you're using your 6 degrees of gun depression, angling that upper plate, it's very, very thick, like 350 millimeters thick, extremely hard to penetrate. So it's very tough to penetrate that. As well, it has, in my opinion, the strongest tier 10 turret in the game, apart from the WZ-111-5A. The WZ-111-5A's turret, yeah, it's about 500 millimeters thick, apart from the cupolas. The 113's about 450. It's still very thick, but it's not nearly as thick as the 111-5A. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. I would 100% suggest to go for this line. I know I always say, oh, go for this line, the WZ-113 GFT, or I don't know, any other tier 10 line at that, but this line specifically is one of the best grinds in Blitz. Once you do get past the IS-2, which absolutely sucks, the 110, as I've made many videos on, I absolutely love. The gun is great, 226 pen, 310 average damage, good DPM, good dispersion, everything about the WZ-110 is great. The 111-1/4 actually has more damage. It's the same gun you'd find on your 111-5A. So it has great heat penetration, great standard pen, it's got 460 alpha, it's got decent aiming time again, the dispersion isn't bad. So the 111-1/4, not only that, has good upper plate. So overall, I think that the entire line is great to grind. They're very different as well, but very similar at the same time. But they're just super fun tanks to grind, and I absolutely love pretty much the entire line as it is. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, if you agree with me, if you disagree. But other than that, I hope you're all doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.